Episode 3 of the Paramount Plus political thriller series The Agency reveals the true identity of Michael Fassbender's Martian as the CIA does damage control on Operation Felix. Created for American television by Jez and John Henry Butterworth, Edge of Tomorrow, Ford v Ferrari, The Agency is an adaptation of the 2015 critically acclaimed French thriller series The Bureau created by Eric Rochon. Fassbender leads the cast of The Agency alongside Jeffrey Wright, Richard Gere, Catherine Waterston, John Magaro, Sora Lightfoot-Leon, and Jodie Turner-Smith. Despite its promising source material and ensemble cast, The Agency has received mixed reviews, resulting in a Rotten Tomatoes score of 66% after its two-episode premiere on November 29, 2024. During The Agency Episode 1 The Bends and Episode 2 Wooden Duck, Fassbender's Paul Lewis gets pulled out of a 6-year undercover mission to help locate a missing CIA operative named Coyote who has the potential to reveal several long-term undercover missions in as many as 9 countries. Episode 3 Hawk from a Handsaw follows 3 undercover operatives in one of those compromised missions, Felix, as they scramble to escape from Russian-occupied Ukraine. Why Martian interrogated Samir about being in London. He's suspicious of Samir because she's not attending her classes. The Agency Season 1 EP 1-2 image via Showtime. Although Martian was pulled out of his mission in Ethiopia to help find Coyote, the cracks in his foundation start to reveal themselves in The Agency Episode 3. After getting caught by Henry for checking into a hotel under his defunct Paul Lewis alias, Martian is put on thin ice despite his expertise and contributions to helping the CIA back in London. Henry isn't aware that Martian is seeing Samir, his love interest from Ethiopia, which would have disastrous consequences for his career. It's clear that Martian is having a difficult time adjusting back to his real identity as Brandon and is taking a massive risk by seeing Samir in London. Martian, however, did not ask Samir to visit him in London as she was interestingly already there when he called her. This raises Martian's suspicions, which leads to an impromptu public interrogation in broad daylight. At the end of The Agency Episode 2, Martian discovers that the academic grant that Samir earned to come to London in the first place wasn't being utilized and Samir was not attending the classes. Martian confronts Samir about why she wasn't attending her classes and suspects that she had followed him to London for different reasons. Ultimately, Martian's approach is too aggressive and Samir calls off their affair. Martian's insane message to Dr. Burke explained. Dr. Burke has to determine whether Martian is a liability to the CIA. Harriet Sansom Harris in The Agency Season 1, Episode 3. The Agency Episode 3 features a lengthy back-and-forth scene between Martian and psychologist Dr. Burke. During the first 2 episodes, it appeared that Dr. Burke was only brought in to provide a risk assessment on Alexei. However, Episode 3 reveals that part of her role at the CIA is to interview agents returning from the field like Martian. Martian is clearly not receptive to the process despite admitting that he would likely benefit from treatment. Burke believes Martian is being defensive and has something to hide, which he does not hide very well. He quickly switches gears and elaborates on his perspective of his job, which he concludes requires him to be just the right amount of insane so that he doesn't become a liability to the agency, which is really all Dr. Burke is there to determine. Why Langley told Bosco Operation Felix is back on. Felix is a top-secret mission of the highest sensitivity. The Agency Season 1 EP 1-20 image via Showtime. Bosco, the London station chief of the CIA, is on a Zoom call with Langley, which is an obvious reference to the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia. The man Bosco speaks to is presumably the agency's fictional depiction of the CIA director. Bosco begins the call by explaining that all of the operations that Coyote was knowledgeable of had been halted except for a top-secret one with the code name Felix. Bosco goes down to a highly secure area known as the Cube to get debriefed on what Felix is and why the mission cannot be aborted. While it's not yet stated why Operation Felix is of the highest sensitivity, one thing that is clear is that Henry's brother-in-law, a Delta named Charlie, is at the heart of it. Is Coyote actually a double agent? Coyote may have gone rogue and been pulled out of his mission. Bosco briefs the team in the agency image via Showtime. Henry and the other main players in the Agency Episode 3 begin to suspect that Coyote's disappearance may have been a planned extraction mission if he was secretly a double agent. The truth about Coyote has yet to be determined, but if he is a double agent, then half of the intel that the CIA has on Ukraine would be corrupt. If not, and Coyote's cover is blown, then several operations, the most significant of them being Felix, are at risk of being exposed. If Coyote was a Belarusian double agent, he would have been trained by the KGB, which means that at this point, it would not be surprising if Coyote went rogue. Langley is already under the impression that Coyote had been a double agent for years who fed the CIA fake intel, but it remains uncertain. Martian's plan to find the Felix operatives explained. Martian targets wooded dead centers and brief heat signatures. Jeffrey Wright and Michael Fassbender walk together in the agency image via Showtime. Martian moves quickly to locate the 3 operatives, including Charlie, who are at the center of Operation Felix. He checks what satellite and infrared images they have available to try and determine the location of the operatives, but realizes the technology in that region of Ukraine can't provide sharp enough resolution to find them. Dr. Burke later reveals that if Coyote did turn, he either did it for ideological reasons, money, or love. Martian suddenly comes up with an exact plan to find Charlie and his 2 undercover operatives, which targets dead centers in wooded areas. The dead centers would indicate that Felix's operatives would have been there since they were trained to go dark and kill all electronic and heat signatures, including pouring water on car engines. Who is Osman and why is he following Samir? He could be an associate of Samir's husband. A new character known as Osman is introduced in the agency episode 3. He is only shown during brief moments behind the wheel of a car, watching Samir intensely. When Osman reveals himself at the end of the episode after Samir and Martian get into their public argument, Samir instantly recognizes him and willingly gets into his car. It does not seem like Osman is necessarily a threat to Samir, especially considering his name is a transliteration of the Arabic name Uthman, which means trustworthy friend. Before he picks her up, Osman takes a photo of Samir talking to Martian on the street. He could have traveled from Ethiopia with Samir and could be an associate of her husband. If Samir turns out to be an operative herself, he could be her professional partner. Osman's identity will surely be revealed in future episodes of the agency.